Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
I don't like to say another episode. It's like, oh, geez, another episode of this weekly comic book review show where we take the books from the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. Instead, we should be like, hey, welcome to a new episode of the show.
That's great.
Right? And that's how I should have started it.
But you didn't.
Hey, everybody, welcome to a new... Wait, yeah, no. Oh. This is how the sausage gets made. Hey, everybody, welcome to a new episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
We're going to be talking about some new comic books that came out the past week, and then we're going to recommend comics that come out this week that we think you should check out. But before we do that, we got to go through a little bit of house cleaning, so strap in because it's going to knock your socks off. First of all, this show is sponsored by you guys who are watching this show live every Monday around 5:30 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are amenable, check out the show live on youtube.com at ComicPop Returns and check out how the magic gets made. Listen, if you are planning on sponsoring today's show specifically, I just want to issue a little bit of a disclaimer. We're going to be answering any questions or comments that come up through our super chats, of course, but I should warn you that if you read any kind of rumor or leak on Friday, you might want to save your money and not ask about that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
great.
That means that the news cycle has done its job.
Hooray. Moving
on.
on.
So let's just move on. I should also mention that we got this package here that we should crack open. Of course, this is also not just comic book reviews, but it's news, reviews, and recommendations. So we're going to be talking about a little bit of news. But before we do that, I wanted to mention that our good friends over at Huff, that's HUF, sent us this package, which I honestly have no idea what we're getting here. I think I could probably tell you what's in it, but I can't tell you what's on the item. I know Tiffany has no idea.
I have no idea. He just told me we were opening this box, and at first I thought he was kidding, and then he was like, no, we're really opening this box here. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I should tell you, this is not a sponsorship. This is not a recommendation. This is not even an endorsement. This company reached out to me, and they said, we'd like to send you this after your many years of service talking about comics. And I was like, okay. It was not Marvel. It was not DC. It was HUD, or Huff, I should say. HUF.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
No. There it is. An official superhero skateboard.
What?
X-Men themed.
Is it a mystery box?
It is kind of a mystery box. You don't know what's going to be inside.
What the heck? Are you freaking for real?
Mm-hmm.
Is this gonna get the Silent Hill ones now?
Yeah, we may have to get them. Oh, they're sold out, so you can't get them anymore.
Okay,
but
WTF?
Yeah.
Should I open it?
Why not?
This is the biggest blind bag I've ever opened.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I got they reached out to me. I thought that they were not real, and so I didn't really take them seriously. But then I looked into it, and I saw they were a real company, legitimate. And
never cut things towards you, folks.
No,
okay?
Never cut towards.
All right, I know which one we got now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because you're looking right at it.
You can look at the front. It'll tell you which ones it could be.
Oh. Well, I assume it could be any of these.
Prismatic.
Oh, prismatic, X-Men logo, hollow foil, or the gold foil. Limited to 150 worldwide. I don't know what that means.
Okay. You ready?
Yes. Ooh. It's a gold foil recreation of the Jim Lee X-Men #1, written by Chris Claremont. Highest selling comic book of all time.
Freaking dope.
That's really gorgeous, actually.
Are you kidding me? What the heck?
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to hang this.
I know a person who could tell us. The comic historian has a bunch of these. Not this one specifically, but like skateboards that he has like lining, or at least used to line up.
This is incredible.
I know. I love it. Yeah, we'll mount that.
I've never held a skateboard.
Wow. You've never held a skateboard?
No, man.
I have absolutely held a skateboard. I've even used a skateboard before.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Now, unfortunately, we are going to have to get our own wheels.
Oh my god! You put wheels on this. You should put it up.
Yeah, this is actually a
This is
collectible.
just-
I'm
this is
not
a
gonna.
beautiful art piece.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I love both sides.
Yeah.
Holy
Sweet.
crap!
Well, all right. Well, special thank you to our friends over at Huff
Holy
for
crap.
sending this over with no ulterior motive outside of just being like, look at this cool thing.
I mean,
Look
yeah.
at this cool thing.
It's so shiny. The lights are like just destroying.
They have
it.
no
It is
idea.
So
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's pretty neat.
This is never to be used.
No, that's fine. I have no intention of using it.
No, this is just a dope ass art piece.
Yeah.
I'm within the amount of time that I can say that on this channel now.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you only said the A word.
Okay, that's true. Just trying to. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Gambit. Look at him. Look at him being all Gambity.
Look at him gambiting out.
Seems to be like a pretty okay angle.
Yeah.
So, kind of.
Kind of get the impression of what we're looking at here.
And then there's Magneto over there. Look at him.
Ooh.
This is amazing. Okay.
So yeah, there you have it.
Wow.
Thanks, Huff.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So you can continue with the show. I guess I'll just hold this for now.
Yeah, sure. So let's jump into a couple of super chats that are out there
Yes.
before we get into the comic books. Patrick Lawson, busy day at work. Catch us later. Hi, Silent Tiff. Hey, Pat. See you next time. Brian Rollins hunkering down for another Syracuse snowstorm with Comic Pop.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Well, we are very lucky. We're just getting mostly rain.
Yes.
So to everyone north of us,
Good luck.
good luck.
Kingsport Cal, I want to say something to Ethan and have to tell him and have him tell me that makes no GD sense. Will you ever consider doing the Vibranium Vendetta on back issues? Tiff could do Excalibur versus X-Men. Love the comic posse. Thanks, man. Yeah, the Vibranium Vendetta is something I've considered doing before, so I could see it happening. Excalibur versus X-Men. That's
It's good. It's merit. I think it's the best way to get Excalibur on
Yeah.
its own on the couch.
that's not a bad. We did Excalibur once, but it was the newer Excalibur.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm talking like
Yeah.
not leading
Classic
into-
Excalibur. Abe Sapien, hey, Comic Pop just wanted to compliment Sal on his latest interview with Tom King. That's true. We did an interview with Tom King. It comes out on Tuesday. That's right, tomorrow. Really hyped for Wonder Woman 800 and King's new run. Also, the fact that King is taking inspiration from Perez elevates the hype. I hope it does. I hope so. Check out that show. It comes out tomorrow. It'll be dropping probably around like between 10 and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Baggins 117, what's poppin', Comic Pop? Not much, man. How about you? Hope your pops are going well. And Patrick Lawson, Tiff, have you played Graveyard Keeper on the PlayStation Plus?
I've not. Is it good?
Yeah, I assume if he's asking.
I
about it.
know. I just like to add. I'm talking to them back.
Steampunk took a break from reading Marvel Cosmic to binge 2013's Young Avengers. I enjoyed it. Also, nice skateboard. I agree. And yeah, Young Avengers is a good series. I think if you haven't already checked it out, you should. Comic Tropes in the chat says, Sal, get on it and show some moves. Yeah, I think the only moves you'll see is me moving this to a more displayable location. Yeah, and we're not going to put wheels on it.
No, we're not.
So I guess it could be a snowboard.
No, it's never being used. Just a nice display, hang it up.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
this is really cool.
Right? So yeah,
I guess I'll put this someplace.
would you?
Yeah.
You can put it over there by Spider-Man. So yeah, we're gonna jump into some books that came out this week that we think you should check out, or at least I'm gonna tell you some about some books that came out this past week. Specifically, all right. So this one pains me. I guess I'll talk about it. Of course, it's not the one you're thinking of. I know people are like, "Oh God, here he goes,"
Is
but
it
no,
Predator?
it's Predator.
I knew it.
It's Predator number one from Ed Brisson and Nethro Diaz. This, it's a thing. It's the second miniseries starring the Predator, or at least featuring the Predator.
There's like lots of Predators there.
Yeah, that's the implication. And it's Ed Brisson's same writer, different artist. If you've ever seen Predators,
Mm-hmm.
it's that again, but less streamlined and more complicated. So Predators, they take people, put them on a game preserve planet, hunt them. That's it. Difference is same exact thing, but they cryogenically froze people throughout history and then drop them
Oh.
all on the game preserve.
Wait, throughout history?
Yeah, so like 1987, 2015, 2047. Yeah, no, not like an 18th century
no, you couldn't
hunter.
do that. It wouldn't make any sense unless you had like No, you can't do that. That doesn't work.
I guarantee you they will.
That means they have time travel.
No, they've been doing this for years.
Oh, the Predators are
the
doing
Predators
it.
have been grabbing people who are they've been cryogenically freezing people
I don't know
and then
why.
randomly putting them on this planet.
Because you said it was Predators, I made it immediately that we were doing it, that we were collecting people and dropping them off.
Maybe
I'm like,
I mean,
we don't have the ability to time travel.
No, here's the thing about the original Predators script from Robert Rodriguez. That script did have a reveal at the end, which was that the Predators and the U.S. government have been working together for years.
Yeah, which I guess is not what it is.
It is. It might be. You know, the new Predator series, the first 6 issues, established that you know, there's like a united federation of planets, and they're in space, and there's like all kinds of crap. So who knows what the government is now? It's just hard to follow and not terribly exciting. It's a disappointment. The art really doesn't fit the style or the theme or any of this. It's not bad, but it's not great either. And the other problem, of course, is that like it's actually not even an issue. My thing is this book uses curse words and very like not terribly concerning violence, but the curse words, there is harsher language in this Predator issue than in the last 3 Black Label books.
Oh.
Like all the Black Label books that I've read by Tom King have had like bleh, like, you know, like cursing it, like, you know, they bleeped them.
Yeah, but you know what they're saying.
Right, but like why? You know, if you're like, it's an unrated, it's for adults.
Because they pulled the teeth out of it.
Yeah, because they're
anymore.
pathetic.
It's not unrated.
Yeah, because it's not unrated. But Predator, which has no indication as the rating system, which has a Marvel logo on it, can say all kinds of words.
Yeah,
so
because it's Predator. They're like, who's gonna be reading that?
And you know what it is? That's really, it's just the Marvel approach of like, who cares? just doesn't surprise me at all. Obviously, I don't recommend this series, but I also don't have a problem with it. It's not bad. It's just not good, and it's especially not worth
not what you're looking for.
It's just not your money. It's not worth your money.
Okay.
Trash Cam, a few doubloons for you. Thank you very much. Trash Cam. MP, I've been loving Mark Silvestri's Deadly Duo. The Batgirl versus Joker fight in the latest issue was fire. Series feels like an arc from a lost Legend of the Dark Knight book. That's a very ringing endorsement. I will definitely check it out. I haven't had a chance to yet, but I will read it at some point. Psycho Red, a brand new, never before seen interview with Tom King. Hell yeah, wink. That's right. AJ Hawk, a failsafe was such a strong start for Zdarsky, but the current stuff is really hitting a wall for me. Does this arc only exist so Bruce can bring back this Alfred and we can forget City of Bane? I don't think so. It would be confusing and weird if this Alfred was the one they brought back. I think Alfred is just, he's a character that is being used in this story for dramatic effect, but we'll talk more about that when we get to the book. And Beeper Leaper. I was disappointed with the Predator miniseries before the current one. I was missing an edge for me. A Predator story needs brutality. Completely agree. You know, I've only intermittently read some Predator books. I remember the first one I ever read was a book called Predator Cold War, which was literally during the Cold War, and it was about Dutch's brother being sent to Siberia to track a Predator landing, and like the Russians send a science team, and the Americans send their team, and so you got these Russian scientists and soldiers and American scientists and soldiers both converging and trying to like get the information they need from this Predator ship, and they're all slaughtered by Predators, and it's really cool.
Right? Wait, Dutch has a brother?
Yeah, who looks exactly like Dutch. Yeah, that's right.
Is it just that we couldn't use the Dutch character?
I guess. I'm sure they just didn't want to have to draw Arnold.
Okay.
So they just draw something that looks kind of like Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. So anyway, but yeah, check out Predator Cold War. We have a trade of it because of course I'm a huge fan.
Nice.
What about you, Tiffy? What'd you read?
Just really quickly, I kind of popped into Ish, which means I didn't quite finish it. X-23 Deadly Regenesis #1.
Yes.
It's written by Erica Schultz with art by Edgar Salazar. This is interesting because I'm pretty sure that this is just a book that takes place at a different point in time. Like, it's like during like the Utopia era.
Oh, that's weird.
I think, or at least the flashbacks are. So, listen, if you're looking for an X-23 book,
that's the one.
This is the one, I guess. If you're like, I don't want to deal with Krakoa and the fact that there's like
or
Laura and like Talon and like, you know what I mean? You're just like, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Like it it is there. It is definitely told with a more modern voice. So even though, like, you know, Utopia started in 2009, I don't know when this takes place within the time that Utopia existed and then was destroyed. But it wasn't that long ago. Like, it was long ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And already the voice for the book feels different.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to be like a, wow, thank gosh, I get back to these storytelling. But it does strip away all the Krakoa stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if it's like, if you're like, hey, you want to give something new a shot, maybe this is for you.
Yeah.
I am enjoying the Krakoa times,
Right,
so
so
I may not be sticking with this just simply because, like, I'm trying to focus kind of on Krakoa stuff right now,
yeah.
and like I like Laura, but I'm not like, she's not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I do like her quite a bit. And I honestly do like the multiple Lauras right now.
Right.
I think that's kind of fun.
I
like
can't argue with that.
You get an opportunity to like give one Laura some growth without, you know, without aging her up needlessly and then ignoring all the stories you could tell.
Right. Unless they kill one of them.
Right. But I'm just saying, I was actually making a John Kent.
Oh, yes. Well. MP says, I like Zdarsky's run so far. Like, rebuilding the character. Seems like he's reversing Morrison's dictum. He's given his bats a death first, and now he's giving him a birth. So maybe he can give him a life. I hope so. That'd be great. I like that. I you know, and I appreciate that Morrison did that whole, like, you know, this is the character's birth, his death, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know what? Grant Morrison isn't the second coming. Like, they can do all kinds of good stuff, but like, you don't have to listen to them all the time. Anyway, what else did you read, Tiffany?
Let's talk about something I really, really enjoyed this week. Moon Knight number 21 came out.
Hey.
And that is written, of course, by Jed McKay with art by Alessandro Cappuccio.
Oh, good.
I gotta tell you, like, you know, like, okay, I had this moment while I was reading this where I was just like, forgive me, give me a chance to explain myself after I said this.
Sure,
all right?
Sure, yeah.
This feels like a run. And I feel like as of late, some books don't feel like a run.
No.
They just feel like a series of issues and then followed by another series of issues. This feels like McKay's, this is his run.
Yes.
And like, I feel like, I think we've talked about this before, but like we're 21 issues in. I feel like I feel like I have a better idea.
Confidently speak about it.
But I definitely, this is gonna be a Moon Knight run to remember. This is gonna be one that people recommend to people.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna be like, okay, you could try the McKay run, jump in on the McKay run. But like, this is a run.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that, or to have the feeling that that comics have come to a point where it's rare to find one.
Yes. Yeah, like going back about like 30 years, like you could grab the Quasar run or the Night Thrasher run or, you know, the Wonder Woman run.
Yeah.
And now none of those books have runs. They have arcs. They have times when the creators run on them, but it's not really lengthy or impactful.
Or it's not as cohesive, and there is such a cohesion, between. And there was a moment in this that really struck me that made me go like, oh my god, yes, this is a run, right? Like it's
like things are paying off other things, but it's not in a big showy way.
Exactly, it's just been this smaller story, and maybe that's what it is too. It's Moon Knight. It's a street level hero. You know, he's dealing with things that are destructive to his own world and destructive to the worlds of those around him, but it's not world ending.
Yes.
So it's like, it's easier to do that. I don't know, but like, I gotta tell you, like, it's a really solid book. And I think part of what makes me feel like it is a run too is like occasionally in a run there'll be a couple of issues where you're like, this is all right. But it's like a couple of issues.
Yes.
And typically they're followed by some strong issues. Yeah. So I feel like I don't know if it was the last one or the one before that, but I was kind of like, this was fine, like whatever. This issue was so damn good. It was just so well done. This is, you know, we're I can't even tell where we're setting things up. Like like arcs are beginning and ending and stuff like that, but I'm just reading it as one huge story at this point. So this issue definitely is like, hey, like stuff that we were talking about the last issue, that like little backup-y thing with Blade, that kind of all gets paid off in this issue.
All right.
It's definitely told from the perspective of a Reese is like, okay, they're like, all right, what happened? Tell us what happened.
Yes.
And so like then we do a let's go back.
Why
not? It is a really well done let's go back.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, listen, I don't mind them. I think that's fun. Yeah.
But like it needs to be well done. And I think that this one was nicely done.
That's great.
you know, it's Reese and Soldier, and like they're vampires now, and they want to go, and they're gonna cut loose, and she wants to go out clubbing. She used to go out and dance, and like she wants to do that with friends.
Yeah.
So they're gonna try to just have a normal night, and they end up not being able to have one, right?
Yeah. Naturally.
Part of the reason that I felt like I was like so attached to the idea of this run is that 2 characters show up, right? It's like I think it's Teddy and Shannon.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Do I remember those characters?
They're from issue 1.
Oh,
they were the 2. Like they're 2 other people who became vampires who didn't necessarily want to.
Okay.
I was like, right, because yes, and they're just there because it makes sense for them to be there.
Yeah.
Not because oh my gosh, mic drop moment, but because these people have a bond. Yes. So they go out clubbing. You know, Jake Lockley cabbies them to where he's got the inn. He knows all the bouncers. I was like, this is good bit of world building, right? I mean, not that if you know Jake's character from the past, that's not unexpected, but if you're just learning about him, because I think for a lot of people, this could be a good first step in Moon Knight. You start with Moon Knight, Jed MacKay's Moon Knight #1. You get to know who Moon Knight is. You get a lot of the subtleties. You get a lot of you know, you get the personalities. You do get a couple of extras that Jed has added in, but you know, like, oh yeah, Jake knows the bouncers because that's the kind of guy he is, right? So he gets the kids in. He's not going to go with them, but he wants them to have a good night out. Go have fun, right? There's some spectacular panel work in this by Cappuccio. He really utilizes his onomatopoeia in this one. In particular, there's a sequence in like the dance club, because obviously this book looks stunning.
Yes.
Especially color-wise. Like I think we've talked about that, just how dang good the colorist is on this book. I don't remember who they are, unfortunately. It is Rachel Rosenberg. Just so good, but he really gets to play around with the colors.
Yes.
But we see as we like are going into the club, you know, the onomatopoeia of the sound of the bass, the music,
that's cool.
right? And as she's dancing, like the sound, the onomatopoeia behind her is almost becomes like the club atmosphere.
Yes.
It's just, I don't know, I really loved it.
That's
loved
great.
the art in this. There's a lot of great motion, a lot of great shadows. You know, like Cappuccio's really, first issue I was like, he's really good but not consistent. Now I'm just like,
just happy to get it.
Dude's got it.
That's great.
This sets up that in the last issue, remember Moon Knight's friends were being attacked. They were being hunted down. There was someone who had used like a phone call essentially to trigger 2 other people to do these killings.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
In this, some folks show up because these 4 vampires can see in the dark. They see someone take out the DJ and they put a record on, and it causes everyone in the club to lose their minds and start killing each other.
Okay.
So we've come to the conclusion someone's using
sound.
And they immediately think they're like, is it Zodiac? I don't know. Could it be Zodiac? I don't know. Like, what's happening? So that's the mystery we're building here. And this issue is just so tight, though. You know, it serves to progress the plot, but it also serves to let us know some of these like members of Moon Knight's team.
Yeah.
They have been part of the book since issue 1, but just to like get to them outside the Midnight Mission. Yeah. And it's welcome because it's not just a hard stop on the story. Right. And Moon Knight does show up in this. Yay. Because Jake like is talking to himself. He's talking to Mark, and Mark's like, do you have it? And the idea is like, is the Moon Knight suit in the trunk? Right. Because like Mark essentially puts the Moon Knight suit on and then like just hangs out on the roof to make sure everybody's cool. Okay. He doesn't want anything to happen to them. Oh, that's nice. And like it's sweet and it's like way too much, but he's totally right to do it. Yeah. I don't know. What's the lesson there? Right. But listen, if you're like in a weird place with comics right now where you feel like there's a lot of like, you know, like, oh, okay, so like there's a creative team and then they're gone, or like there's a creative team and then once they get done doing one thing, they switch it up and they do something totally different right afterwards with the book. Moon Knight's not that. Moon Knight is just Jed MacKay being like, here's my run. Here's the story. Here's the story I want to tell. Yeah. And it doesn't feel decompressed and it doesn't feel like he's just trying to make things up as he goes. Like there's a plan here. It feels like there's a plan, and it's very comforting. That's great. So hopefully Marvel doesn't force him to do an event out of it. Right. Hopefully it don't do too well. Yeah. No. Just keep it going the way it is. But if you've been on the fence about this and saying to yourself, man, I got to get into this, just get into it. But go back, start with issue 1 though, because trust me, it's a worthwhile journey. You're gonna have fun with it. That's great. Jose Rivera says runs are definitely a rarity these days because there's always a fear of dreaded renumbering, cancellation, or writing for the trade. Those all are inevitabilities, and they've been around longer than you probably would care to admit. So fact is, it sucks, but like, you know, there are some folk who can get away with it or around it, and those people should be applauded.
Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. Thoughts on Suicide Squad game? So far, it feels meh. What do you think, Tiffany?
I gotta tell you, like, it's funny because I know my entire like Twitch channel revolves around mostly us playing
superhero related video games,
right? And there's like, I really don't want to support this game.
No,
because this is the one I was hyped for.
Yes,
I couldn't wait to play this because I'm like, I love this studio, or at least I kind of love part of this studio,
right? Until they put that car in the game.
Yeah, that wasn't that. That was the other one, but yeah.
No, it was them.
Oh yeah, that's true. But like, I don't want to support this necessarily, but I feel like we have to in order to play it because I feel like that's just what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no.
I don't love I do not support the idea of pay to win.
No. I honestly, like, I was not on board for this game from the get-go because I'm like not like, as I understand it, they were working on a Superman game for a long time. The scuttlebutt is that they were working on a Superman game forever, and then Warner Brothers is like Suicide Squad. So like, make mechanics that put Superman in it, but also make it starring the Suicide Squad instead. And then they changed it up and made it into this thing. And that could be wrong, but the fact is, I know that Rocksteady has wanted to make a Superman game and they have been like blocked. I think that would have been fun. And I'm not really interested in seeing a AAA selling title in which the Justice League are monsters you have to murder. No thanks. Like, no thanks. I'm not interested in playing, watching, hearing about a video game in which like Flash is a sadistic bastard. Like, I can read a comic book like that, which I choose not to do, and there are already too many of them, so pass.
That's fair. It comes down to a lot of the mechanics for me, and I didn't like the Avengers game.
No, it was horrible.
So
yeah, and looking at the Suicide Squad gameplay footage that we've seen so far, it looks like it's a lot of jumping and shooting purple stuff. Girk Pectus, I love John Romita Jr.'s art overall, but I can't stand how he draws legs. It's a nitpick, but they look deformed. Do you have any favorite artist nitpicks? I'm sure I do. Steve Dillon has a lot of the same face. Mark Bagley, people like he has a short form for getting things done.
I can't handle Kelly Jones's lack of consistency sometimes.
Yeah. I don't care for Mike. I really don't like whatever his name is, the guy who drew Spider-Man for like a frustrating long amount of time. People think he's amazing. He drew one of those One Bad Day books. He's Italian.
Oh, okay.
But everyone's faces are like ugly as sin and all the same. But it's like inorganic stuff, like cars, robots, buildings, like tables, chairs, clothing, everything that contributes to the human condition without the humans themselves looks great. He drew Undiscovered Country. Camuncoli, Giuseppe Camuncoli. Yeah,
you got it.
His people just look ugly as hell, and they're consistently ugly. Like, they are the same, and they are the same ugly.
Okay.
Like, everyone came from the same like origin point of one ugly dude.
Right, and Fiona Staples is perfect, and I have
no complaints about that. Oh, nice little misdirect there. So, let's see. Oh, I read Adventures of Superman, John Kent, #1, Tom Taylor, Clayton Henry. This was kind of rolling out of the Lazarus Planet stuff because people's powers got changed because of Lazarus Planet. Remember that thing? It just ended not too long ago and nobody cared. This was one of those like teases that came before Lazarus Planet that never got paid off or did anything, and now is finally doing it. And it really doesn't matter because it's not really what the story's about. I thought it was a great idea to go, all right, you want to go Electric Blue, give it to the Sun. If you really don't know what to do with or don't care about John, you want to differentiate.
And yet you want to like maybe cash in on the nostalgia some folks have for Electric Blue, because it's, I think we're at.
People love them. No, we're at the place where like the prequels were divinely created. Electric Blue Superman was awesome and amazing. Azrael Batman was a better Batman.
Here's the things, folks. If there's something you didn't like growing up, note it down and then go and find out how much there's an entire community now that thinks it's the greatest thing ever, even though it was definitely not.
Yeah, and that you're wrong about your opinion.
It's amazing. No, I think you know what? Like, I think what it is like the further you get away from something, the more you miss the time surrounding it versus the thing itself, and so it represents something. Right?
You don't love Electric Blue Superman.
Maybe they do.
You love being given money by your mom and dad and being allowed to go someplace by yourself.
Some folk might. That's I don't know.
No, it's true. But this is okay. So John, the secret's back in the bottle as far as his identity is concerned, but it's topsy-turvy because his boyfriend now is known for dating Superboy or Superman, the other one. And so he has to be the one to wear a disguise walking around in public. Fart. And then, you know, Superman springs into action. You know, the book flirts with the idea of him having different powers. The cover is a lie. And that he doesn't. He bumps into Val-Zod, who is there.
So he's not Electric Blue?
No, he is, but like he won't be in this issue or in the next one.
Okay.
And so Val-Zod is here from, you know, the Dark Crisis and Justice League Incarnate and everything else he's been in. And he's like, hey, Superman, what's going on? I need your help and let's go. And I waited until Superman, like the real one, was gone because I really needed to I needed your help because Ultraman, your captor / the leader of the crime syndicate, is murdering Superman across the multiverse, which would destabilize the entire multiverse, but whatever. And so we need you because if we called real Superman, he would be killed by Ultraman because he wouldn't back down. He wouldn't let you get involved, but you get involved. Like, let's go. You and me and Red Tornado from my reality, who is also Lois Lane, and she'll meet you. And it's like if you read comics and you like know about like Earth 2's Red Tornado, you know that's Lois Lane. And it's like otherwise you're just baffled. And so, but they had the audacity for the last page reveal to have Lois Lane Prime meet Red Tornado Lois Lane, and then after like a full on like 3-page conversation in the kitchen, have her go like, I'm Lois Lane. You're like, dun, dun, dun. I knew that like 10 years ago. I mean, you know,
but this is a number one.
This is a number one. We got to introduce you, reintroduce you to all the stuff.
They don't know if you know.
Yeah. This is, I mean, look, I was not reading the Superman book before, the new Superman. I wasn't a fan. It just didn't click. And I love Tom Taylor's writing. So like, you know, it's just some things aren't going to click with you.
Mm-hmm.
This one continued to not click. The art really also didn't really appeal to me.
Okay.
Just very, you know, simple. It wasn't bad. It was consistent.
Okay.
Did its job. But yeah, so John's gonna leave with Val to go into the multiverse to go fight Ultraman, and also maybe the Injustice universe is going to be involved.
Okay.
And it says Road to Injustice, but there's been no indication about Injustice whatsoever.
Mm.
I know it will pay off. I know it will be a thing because DC told us that it's a big deal and you should pay attention. But you know, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very serviceable comic book that exists. I don't know if it's worth the price of the cover price, but I promise you can get it in a week or two and it'll be a lot cheaper. So Mo says, hi, Tiffany and Sal. Hi, Mo. How do you differentiate between bad artwork and an art style that isn't your cup of tea? Hey, I like that because that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, yeah, I don't know. Tiffany, how do you deal with that? Because like there have been books that I've been like, this book looks amazing. And you're like, meh. And I'm like, okay, you're insane.
Well, okay. So yes, there are often times where I'm just like, I don't care for something, and that's clearly my subjective opinion. But how can I tell when it's objectively bad?
Yes.
A lot of times I rely on
consistency.
It's anatomy.
Yeah.
Panel layout, and you know, like you. All right, when you look at enough art, you'll start to notice that like anatomically, sometimes people will stretch proportions, right? But it all works within the style,
within the world they created by their style.
Yes, or like the actual figure itself. It all ends up working out, right? And then you'll see examples which you can look up. You know, historically speaking, I'm not calling anybody out here. Of poor anatomy in comic book art, just in particular, right? Where it's just like, okay, that's not good. It's not strong, right? So you got that. You can look to see like stiffness of a character, even in a style that can be a little more rigid. Sometimes stiffness of a character, it does not go well on a panel, right?
Yeah,
like you can tell. Panel layout's another one for me. Like you can tell strong panel layouts versus none. If you notice within a panel you can't quite understand what's happening in the art, that to me strikes me as like a
objective sign.
Yeah, that's an objective sign of maybe not so strong artwork.
Yeah.
Because the storytelling needs, with a comic, it's an instance of like the art and the words have to support one another and come together. And sometimes one's going to overshine the other one, but at the end of the day, like it's supposed to be a marriage between the two. And by the time, but at the end of that issue, you have a full, complete story because of those two.
Yes.
And if the art makes it confusing, that's not good.
No, yeah. If the art fails to like convey what the point is or what the idea is, if you can't differentiate, like you're looking at a panel, you can't tell what's happening, and it's not because the scene is supposed to be chaotic, then that's a good sign. I mean, the fact is, it's the same way that like writers read a lot, because after a while they can differentiate between what's good writing and what's bad writing, looking at art and absorbing it over time. say 25, 30 years, you'll start to see, I don't know about you, but like when we walk through like Artist Alley at Comic Cons, there are some artists you can look around, you can go like, they have a lot of work to do, they have less work to do, they are ready for prime time. And it's like, at this point, I remember when we first started going to New York Comic Con, like that was our first Comic Con of all time. So it's like, that's where I say it. Not like New York Comic Con in any way is like a litmus test for Artist Alleys, but like, I remember when we first started going to cons, is what I should say. It was tough to sift through it all. But at any con we go to now, immediately, like, we could be talent scouts at this point and go like, I think this will sell, I think this is good, I think this needs time, I think this needs work.
I don't know.
And there's some folk where it's like, I don't think this is like, you don't recognize, and the worst is when they don't recognize that the work needs more time.
Yeah.
But it really is about like just taking in as much different styles of art.
Yep.
And looking at it and like not necessarily judging it by your own standards, but just judging it based like from what you've seen before. And that I think helps a lot.
Yeah.
But that's about differentiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a good art style to like, or maybe a litmus test for it is if it fits with the tone of the book. That tends to help, and that's not really their fault.
No, that's like about who, but even then, like sometimes they just
But you need to take that into account too. Like when you're looking at art that you're like, oh, I just don't like this, and is one of the factors that you're like, oh, this just doesn't fit what the story is. Like, and it could just be that, and then you go like, oh, it's not that this art's bad, it just doesn't fit the story I'm reading.
Yeah, like I like Mark Bagley. I don't think Mark Bagley is great every page, panel, and time. But if you were to put Mark Bagley on Human Target, you'd think his art sucked, right? Because it was just it would not be the same tone. It wouldn't work. So that's, just an illumination for folks. I also read Clear from Scott Snyder and Francis Manapul. We've talked about this before. I read this like it feels like 2 years ago. I feel like it must have been 8 months ago because of the COVID time.
Is this the one where it's like the future sucks?
They're all like that.
Wears like, you wear goggles on your head so that. Or
keep going.
Say on your head so that you can project whatever reality you want to see.
Yes. It's about everyone living in virtual reality,
right? Or it's like, it's a critique on social media where like you're putting out the story that you want to tell the world versus living in the reality of what actually is.
I wish that were true.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is more literal. Like,
okay.
Everyone lives in a reality where everyone lives in the world and they wear this this HUD display and they project different realities over reality. You want to live in a zombie apocalypse, you want to live in porn world, you can do that. Or you can have Clear, which allows you to see the world as it is, but no one does that. And it costs more to be able to actually do that more and more every year.
It costs more to do that?
Yes, because they don't want you to look at the real world. But the real world also is like bland and crappy. Like everything that was old is falling apart. Everything new is built like a current Burger King.
Can't you just not wear it?
Yeah, you can, but like it's in your eyes. Like it's not like a thing. Like it's more like a bio thing. But how like modern McDonald's are like just sweeping angle. Every Starbucks is just like a black or brown like box. Everything new is being built so that you can project something on top of it, like a feudal castle or whatever. So anyway, our hard-boiled detective character, his wife is murdered. His wife dies, and then he gets a mysterious package that indicates that his wife was maybe not. Maybe it was foul play. So
do you see her as she normally is, or do you project what they look like?
You can project over people too, but like you see them, but like wearing outfits or whatever.
Oh, okay, but you can't like change what their face looks like.
No, you know who people are, but like you can make them a cartoon if you want to and stuff like that. Like it's a whole there's no consistency. Okay. It's just just stick with the idea.
Okay, sorry, don't dig too deep.
No, Francis Manapul's best work so far is in this book. It's a great looking series. Okay. It's awesome. I've read every issue and it's fantastic. But the first issue dropped in physical and from Dark Horse.
Cool.
You haven't read it? It's neat. It's fun. You could probably see the ending from a mile away, but whatever.
Okay.
That's every every hard-boiled grizzled detective story I've read in forever. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Human Target. There was another. Well, and it wasn't Gotham City Year One. There was another hard-boiled grizzled detective story that I read recently where I was like, And then at the end, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what, okay.
Right.
Then it's like, yeah, that's what it's about. Like, it's about the atmosphere. It's about being in the world. So, yeah. No, but don't think about it too much.
Okay, that's fair.
It's certainly what they're banking on.
I read Nightcrawlers #2.
Of course you did. I hope so. Yay.
This is written by Cy Spurrier with art by Andrea DeVito.
Ooh.
So I didn't look ahead. I don't know if the other ones will be drawn by Andrea DeVito, and like that's what they're going to do because this is the 100 years mark.
Oh,
the last
we're
three
a different period.
Like, yeah, each issue takes place in the different setup.
Okay.
So it was like the first 3 were 10 years out from when Sinister takes over.
Yeah.
Or like sets things into motion, right? This is 100 years.
Oh.
So it's like a lot has changed. It's fast moving style of series. The next one's gonna be 1,000 years.
Okay.
This is part 5. So we're 5 issues in.
Okay.
To Sins of Sinister, because the first one was Sins of Sinister.
Yes.
And then we had the other 3.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember how they went, so I don't want to speak out of turn and give somebody the wrong reading order.
By the way, somebody mentioned in the last episode, and I wanted to address it only because they're wrong, and it was like, don't put that out there. Somebody was like, Sal, they put the number of the story in the top of the book, and I'm like, no, that's the issue number.
Yeah,
Sins of Sinister #2.
So maybe what they misunderstood.
But it is part 5.
Yeah, so maybe they misunderstood. So like theoretically, you could just read Nightcrawlers. I don't know.
You could theoretically read all of Nightcrawlers.
I will not know until the 3rd issue if that is...
Probably not.
I bet you can, and I bet the last issue of Sins of Sinister is what's going to wrap it all up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah. Will it be Sins of Sinister Omega?
Wait, how many issues is it? 10 issues or is it 11?
You know what? We can just pull up the we can look at the reading order. It says it right there in your book.
Oh yeah, that's right. All I have to do is look.
I
have it literally open. What's wrong with me? Yeah, there's Dominion. Okay, never mind. I literally am looking at that page asking these questions.
Yeah.
Use my brain and my eyes, and then here we go. So yeah, I think that these will tell their stories, and then everything will be wrapped up. So I guess in theory you could just read Nightcrawlers.
Yeah.
But this is part 5 of the Sins of Sinister storyline that is sweeping through these 3 new titles, which honestly I kind of love that they just changed the titles to something else.
Me too.
So like, like if
it's
you're
different.
like Nightcrawlers did not exist.
Yeah.
Until like 1 month ago. So you get it. This book's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad.
This was so good. This was like painfully so good. I'm just like, you know how I was saying, like, I don't like, you can't just bank on a writer to write something amazing every time. I'm like, this Cy Spurrier sometimes, Kieran Gillen, Al Ewing, they make me question that motto, right? Like, I'm clearly gonna be reading The Flash.
Yeah,
a thing I've never really jumped in on at all.
Nope.
I'm clearly going to be reading.
You can at least read some of The Flash.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have to try at least 1 to 2 issues of The Flash
because Cy Spurrier is taking over Flash,
right? So like,
yeah.
Anyway,
crazy.
This just goes like, hey, catches us up. Like 10 years ago, we were here. How did we get to 100 years? What has happened?
Yeah.
Well, the Krakoan like Quiet Council in Sin. That's what they call them. It's Magic in Sin, Xavier in Sin.
Oh, okay.
You get Hope in Sin. You get the idea, right? It kind of helps to indate who these characters are. So you're not just thinking, oh, it's just Xavier. It's just Hope. No, it's this
sinisterized version.
Yes, exactly. They started getting worried about like the threat from the stars, right?
Yes.
So they took their fight out there, and then it went from being a defensive thing to just, I kind of like just doing this,
right?
I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
And they did. Magic went back to Asgard. She took that down.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Mother Righteous, as we found out, had been related to the Sinisters, is now, instead of the diamond, she's of the heart.
Oh.
And she's working her own thing. She's trying to take down the diamond. She's trying to take down Sinister. And she's like, we gotta get a whole bunch of magical relics, and we're gonna build our own reliquary thing, right?
Okay.
We're gonna go for it. And I'm gonna use the Nightcrawlers, who they've been able to purge some of the Sinister out of, some of them.
Oh no.
The Chimera, the Nightcrawler Chimera.
Yeah.
And they're gonna help me steal things.
So
we've been doing that.
If I may, just really quick, like, because the chimeras were indicated in like Powers of 10 back in the Hickman era.
Yeah.
Is this suggesting that, because like I think Powers of 10 is like thousands of years in the future, or at least like hundreds of years.
It changed. It shifts. It shifts. It keeps going.
But like chimeras existed, but I don't think everything was sinisterized.
No.
But are they suggesting that maybe as a result of the Nightcrawler's actions, eventually we will reach the Powers of 10 future, where it's like there are chimeras and stuff, but humanity, mutant kind, kept going and Sinister was left somewhere in the last interim of like hundreds of years.
I think they're saying that Sinister has always been working on Chimera, and this is probably the only way we're ever going to get to see them.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I was wondering if they were like tying it into like that.
They're tying it into the idea that like in all of those futures, a lot of same events happens.
Oh, okay. You're gonna see shades of what you saw.
Yeah, like a lot of same things ended up happening. Maybe there was like a divergent here, and it's like
there's a phalanx.
They're
sometimes.
They're like, no, Sinister was trying to make chimeras always.
Yes. And sometimes they worked, and sometimes he won, and sometimes he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. I wasn't sure if like maybe that was their hat trick. Where they're
no,
this is Powers of 10.
Yeah, they're literally just exploring this.
All right, cool.
This avenue.
Oh, why not? And it's an Age of Apocalypse.
And they are fully trying to explore it. So you get to see all the different exploits of different characters. And whilst these huge bombastic battles are going on, this is a great one. When Xavier goes to take down the Shi'ar, he has like all these brains, and there's different brains from different mutants around him, and they just kind of come there. And like what he does is he gives them the idea that like everyone's out to get you, and so like he destroys the Shi'ar that way.
Okay,
I'm like, oh,
that's great.
That's unbelievable, and I love that they're like, no, Xavier obviously has to go destroy the Shi'ar. I'm like, yeah, he is the greatest tie to them. Sure, right? Yes, of course. But while that's going on, a Nightcrawler will bamf in, grab a thing that they need from wherever this battle is happening, and bamf out. No one knows that it's happening because they're so focused on battle.
Exactly.
Right? There's a battle happening. Battles be happening.
Yeah.
We run into Banshee, who obviously has the spirit of variance within him. He's checking in on the Nightcrawlers and Mother Righteous. He notices that Summer Night, who's a Cyclops Nightcrawler, is being prepared for a ceremony, and that ceremony will kill him. And he's like, what's up with that? And the one who...
Is he a Jellicle mutant?
Of course. Because Jellicle mutants do Jellicle things and go to Jellicle balls and Jellicle galas, and then they go into the Jellicle portal that kills them. Anyway, no, it's actually sadder that what's happening.
Yeah,
he can hear the voice of Sinister. It's like slowly creeping back in. Like it's been too long. It's like whatever they were able to pull out is now wearing down, and his bond is clearly going back, right? Like a Borg. But also he's like given up the fight of wanting to be here because he ended up getting with the Wolverine Nightcrawler, and she got pregnant because even though they were all born like without the ability to bear children,
life found a way.
Her regeneration over 100 years fixed that.
Yeah.
And so they had a kid. And then it's real sad because the baby is born, and I guess whatever Chimera magic happened, it like opened its eyes and immediately its powers activated, and it bamfed away. Didn't know how to use it. And it went someplace.
But it shouldn't be able to do that. Well, I guess because of chimeras or whatever.
So
its mutant ability.
And it is drawn in a horrifically sad thing where like she's holding it, and then like she has just like one little cloud of it left, and I'm like. But then Mother Rice just took that, rewrote basically what happened, and turned that tragedy into like the focal point of their religion. So Summer Night and Wolverine Nightcrawler never were able to really get over it because they were faced with it every single day. And as more Nightcrawlers were brought into the fold, they like worship this baby basically.
Yeah.
And so like he's like, I'm done. I'm good. Nope. I'm at the end of my life. I can't get past this.
Cool. Okay.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Right. So off he goes to it's the barrier of Sinister's lab, and like Domino, who's like ancient at this point, Domino Nightcrawler, is able to bamf them there.
Okay.
And so like they hit that, and then they're like they just turn to bones basically. So you're like, okay. So Nightcrawler Wolverine is essentially
Wagnerine.
Actually, that might be what her name is.
That's what they put in the thing.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I'm like, is that what her name is? Wagnerine, which I don't like that name.
No,
that one's
terrible.
Not so strong.
No.
Essentially is starting to question some things and talking to the spirit of variance about this / Banshee about what needs to be done, and that like Mother Righteous has like kind of gone down a different path and isn't paying attention to what the Nightcrawlers need anymore, and like is so focused on this relic hunt.
Yes.
But not really doing much. Like she's kind of like, what? Everyone's so blinded by this, but nothing's happening.
Right.
Convinces him to get involved, and they inevitably like go for a plan that it was return to Earth to get something there.
Okay.
Earth has been like abandoned. All of the Quiet Council went out and are hitting the stars and conquering there. They're like, that place is so over, right? So they just left it, and it is crumbling and horrible. And that was like when the Brood and the Annihilation Wave showed up.
Okay.
And they, destroyed it. And the question is, like, did they realize that place was already over when they got there?
Yeah.
Like, or were they just so out of the loop they didn't know and they just showed up because they were supposed to?
Exactly.
Right? So no one really knows what's going on Earth any longer.
Okay.
So they get there and there's just mutants like Chimera running wild. They're all over the place. They're like gross and decaying and what have you.
Awesome.
And what they go to get is the original Kurt, who's been like just like evolving. Remember he had that weird disease where he like had horns and like,
oh yeah,
he just kept evolving.
Okay.
So they bring him back to fight Mother Righteous. She takes him down. She ends up actually killing him. And then it's just like turns her attention to Wagnerine and is like,
right,
you're out of here. Like Spirit of Arian's like, burn her, kill her. And he's like, I really don't want to do that. And it gives her a moment enough that she's able to bamf away. So now we're following her. Now she's like, okay, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Because while she's having this discourse with Mother Righteous, she's got these like, like Sinister has like a cape.
Yes.
She's got these like ball thingies, and the ball thingies have like the power from the relics that they've stolen within them as she's like collecting them.
So she's like wearing an Infinity Gauntlet.
Kind of,
but for relics.
But like for magic. Oh, by the way, we do see some of the magic characters like Brother Voodoo or Dr. Voodoo.
Yeah.
Steven is there. Elsa Bloodstone. They're in Otherworld. They try to survive for I think 70 something years, and then eventually they get taken down.
Yeah, all right.
I'm like, cool. Hey, they had a good run. They had a good run.
Yeah.
But one of her like ball thingies ends up touching Wagnerine, and she gets like a message from that, and the message is her kid didn't die.
Yeah.
Mother Righteous took the kid. Put it in a ball. And like it's one of the things she needed. And so she's like, so you not only took my pain and you turned it into a religion.
Right.
You stole that from me, but what you actually stole was
my literal child. Yeah.
So I'm like,
cool.
Yes, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
I love this. This is like the first one just felt like they were playing. This one I was like, oh no, we're not playing. Like, yes, I am. Sliceberg is doing such a good job. They have such a tight timeline on this. It's 3 issues, but the world feels really fleshed out.
Yes.
And I think that's just a testament to each of these writers' ability to give you like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue or
that tells you a whole story.
Yeah, that tells you a whole story in conjunction with the panel that you're seeing. So great work so far, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
So good. And the reason I tell you so much about this book is because I feel like not enough people are reading it. Reading these books, they don't maybe know what it is, or they don't really have interest in it because it's like a far-flung future. It is such an interesting dive into what ifs, and honestly taking these character elements, because you have Kurt, right?
Yeah.
Who has been known to be a fairly will have a religious background, right?
Yeah.
And then to see them like all these like Chimera who can't help but be drawn into this like cult.
Yeah, it's like they're wired for
they can't help it. I'm like, this is so interesting. So you guys got to check it out.
Yeah. Sinisters or
Nightcrawlers number 2.
Girk Pectus, what do you think of the Little Mermaid trailers? I can't stand these POS remakes of Disney classics. Melissa McCarthy sounds like she's phoning it in. I mean, that's Melissa McCarthy. She's phoning everything in.
I honestly didn't even know there was a
I didn't see a trailer
for it.
It's for children. I wouldn't watch it.
I never see trailers. I haven't seen any of the. No, we saw like one of the live action remakes.
We saw Mulan.
Yeah, and I think that's it.
That's it. I haven't watched any of the Jungle Book, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, we didn't see any of the live action ones.
Because I've got cartoons. I don't care, and I can live a life without having to watch things I know I'm going to hate.
I am like, listen, folk who do like them, because I think some people do like it.
I'm sure they do.
And I've no that's awesome. Like,
yeah, I saw a scene the other day from The Lion King. Like, it was the big scene when Simba confronts Scar. Yeah. It's awful.
You didn't like it?
No, it was awful. Okay. It was just because they look like real lions, so it's like really mundane, but like voiced by, I think Donald Glover plays Simba, and he's really phoning it in because he doesn't give a crap. Because he's like, I'm making Atlanta. I don't need to do this. I'm just doing this to pay for an entire season of Atlanta, and it's like, it's just real bad. I was just like, why would you make this? Like, all it made me want to do was watch the cartoon, but also like, I'm sure people love it. I know people love Jungle Book. I think Jon Favreau made that one. good for them.
I think it's what, as long like they're fun stories and there's fun songs in them,
right?
And so like it's interesting to see them get a second life,
right?
Because there's so much content out there. I guess it's I have no idea how difficult it is to get children's eyes on older stuff like that.
It's hard, as I understand it. I don't know.
But like in terms of them making remaking live action ones, like I guess I miss just them making animated movies.
Yeah.
And I think that's just I like hand drawn animation.
Well, they are. I mean, Lion King. There's nothing live in that movie.
I mean, I'm talking about.
You know what I mean.
I miss hand drawn animation. I think that's why not that like Studio Ghibli hasn't gone a little bit to the computer stuff as well.
Yes, like that weird one by his son.
It's in there, yeah. But there is something to be said about knowing that love and that craft has been in there, and I think that's just a connection to art for me. Not that I'm not saying CG is not art. It is art. But that type of like hand to paper kind of thing, I would love to see Disney. Like I thought The Frog Princess was really fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I wish they would do more animated stuff. Yeah. I think they. But I get it. If that's not what the audience is, that's fine.
Right.
So like I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything about Little Mermaid. No. I don't really have a strong attachment to the.
I'm not gonna watch
cartoon either.
Right. Exactly. I don't care about it.
Like, admittedly, that the woman who played Ursula and that.
Carol Kane, and she's great. She's and dead,
believable. So, we're never gonna get her, so that's
right.
But other than that, I don't really care.
I don't care. John Doubleton, hey, Sound Tiffany. I recently read Wonder Woman: Paradise Lost and loved it. Tied a lot into the Imperiix art, and I really wanted to know if y'all thought it was a recommend or not before I bought it. I don't know. I've never read it. Sorry,
I don't think I have either.
No, it's from 2001.
Okay, yeah, no.
By Phil Jimenez and George Perez, but no, I've never read it. I haven't read a lot of Wonder Woman. Rystone 111 or 1117.
The name sounds familiar though.
Yeah, well, that makes sense for her.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Happy New Week, Sound Tiffany. What are some characters you used to dislike that you grew up or that grew on you with age and time? The Flash. I used to not even regard him. Now I understand why. Booster Gold. I came to appreciate over time. Superman was the biggest one for me. But I was like, what a loser. And I'm like, oh, I'm the loser.
Yeah, to be honest with you, speaking of Wonder Woman, I wasn't a big Wonder Woman fan. I not for any particular reason.
Yeah.
I think just because obviously like in the cartoon I liked Shayera better.
Well, she's more fun.
It's like move out of the way, let her do her thing.
Yeah.
But over time, I have grown to appreciate her stories when they're told well.
Yes.
For sure.
Girk Pectus, with the MCU multiverse being such a big deal, any plans to cover Claymore's Captain Britain, where he introduces Earth 16 and all the multiverse ideas? No. Meta Knight, hey, big fan of the show. Wanted to ask if the ComicPop 4 were to get mutant powers, which one would fit you guys want? Ethan would have speed, Ben would have teleportation. I would just take like spider powers, and Tiffany would have magic.
Oh, you're deciding for me? No way. I want healing factor.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That's not even really a power. That's just what I want. I want that.
I would take a healing factor, too. That's awesome.
Man.
I like that a lot. I could do Wolverine. That's fine with me. Anarchic Arachnid. Speaking of Mr. Glover, what's your take on the Hypno Hustler with him seemingly being the driving force? I hope it falls apart. All right, let's see what we got here. How about X-Men number 20 from Jerry Duggan and Stefano Caselli?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right?
I know you read that too.
So I didn't read it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah, of course I did.
All right, good.
You know I did. We have it in physical because somehow this one's been showing up.
This one, Marvel mails it consistently to us for some reason.
You can show it there. That's
We're also subscribed to a bunch of other books, but like Marvel.
But that one doesn't show up. Yeah, man. This is like, hey, the Brooder losing their minds. What's up with that? Where is Brew?
Yeah, where's Brew? He was supposed to take over. I thought that was the whole thing. He ate the egg.
He's on a Racco, like having like vacation time.
Why?
So Magic and Jean go like, hey,
what are you doing?
What's going on? Right? And it's like, what's going on? He's like, nothing. They're like, the Brood are like rampaging. He's like, that's not possible. And there's like 4 or 5 sleeping Brood near him protecting him. And then he's like, watch. And he makes them get up and then they do the Thriller dance. And like Magic's delight is, I adore it.
That's awesome. She looks like she turned into a cat.
Yeah, she is just thrilled with them doing Thriller dance.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I would be too, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
and also be like, they're gross.
Yes.
Please leave.
Yeah, I hate them.
But Bruce seems tired. He seems, just kind of overworked a bit. And Jean's like, so you're good? He's like, yeah. And she's like, how you been sleeping? He's like, meh, not great. She's like, huh, all right. Let me into your mind.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't want, no.
Why?
Well, because he's like, that's rude. Like, he's like very much just like, no. She's like, it really wasn't a question. I'm going in anyway.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, don't forget the rest of the X team, which is Sync and Firestar and Iceman and Talon.
Yep.
And Cyclops are elsewhere trying to help as many people as possible who are being attacked by the Brood, right? So they found this meteor of some sort. Or planetoid. It's a planetoid. That kind of had been forgotten by everyone. It's just kind of there. It became called Refugee Rock. The Nova Corps doesn't show up there. Like, no one comes to help these people. They're being attacked by the Brood. They're trying to get them all onto the ship that they basically stole.
Okay.
And they're fighting all the Brood back. Iceman's like, I'll take care of it from here. Don't worry. Like, you guys go ahead. They can't get me because my body's ice. They can't like implant me with an egg or anything. Okay. So like, I'm cool.
Literally.
Corsair is in the like medical bay of this ship.
Yeah.
They mentioned that Cyclops has angrier than he's been in a long while. I'm like, oh, interesting. This is a moment for if we want to see old Cyclops again. Maybe we'll see that. I don't.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Cyclops hops into the seat of the ship, ready to go. Iceman makes everyone go inside. He's like, I'll build a wall. You're good. Get out of here, everybody. They all go inside. He makes this huge ice wall. And Talon like shouts out the closing doors, like, we'll come back for you. And then he's like, no, we're good. And she looks down. And it's like tiny Iceman.
Oh,
he's little.
Okay.
He's just a tiny ice guy.
All right.
He's like, don't worry. Like, when it gets more humid, I'll grow. I'm like, oh, okay.
Cool.
So on the ship, everyone's like, they're like, this is what we do. We didn't save everyone, but we saved as many people as we could. Yeah. And it's all we could hope for. Like that's the best that we can do as X-Men. Don't forget Forge and Monet are in the head of of Nowhere.
Yes.
The Nowhere bar. I always want to call it a bar, but it's not really.
Right.
Nowhere, which was sucked through a black hole. They wanted to know what happened with that. So they had a gate there through shenanigans.
Yep. And
went there. They found their dead bodies, but then they fixed it. They're cool.
Okay.
Then we get like it's funny because it's like it's so not important. It's like, ooh, scary. But there's like a one-off line that like Monet is like, and like you got us back in our bodies after the second try or correct bodies. So I'm like, oh, you know what that means. Forge was in Monet's body.
Right.
So I'm guessing they didn't want to do that trope, but we want to hint that is what happened indeed, right?
All right.
They need to get back. Unfortunately, there is, it's not easy to do that. So what they're going to do is they're going to create a small black hole and like bring the like Nowhere back with them.
Okay.
Seemingly. In Bru's mind, Jean Grey sees like, okay, everything looks pretty okay. Like Bru's like we see Bru when he was, at the Jean Grey school. We see Bru taking over. We see Bru utilizing the Brood like being their conscience.
Yes.
So like since the Brood basically go with like each of his whims, what he does is he tries to find people who deserve this. So like they find a ship and there's like slavers on it, and so he has them only attack them.
Okay.
So the Brood feed on them.
Right.
And everyone else gets to go free.
All right, cool.
And I'm like, okay, that's know
what?
That's
pretty harsh, but
there's something interesting there that they could like. That's
they
like
could do that.
Like with Bru, like that's interesting. Like that is better off with the Brood, right? Like Cyclops at the beginning has a moment where he is Cyclops, like he's old school Cyclops, where he's just like, we're not the Avengers.
Right.
We should have taken care of the Brood a long time ago, like taken care of.
Yeah.
Like they should be annihilated.
Yeah. He has a line about the Avengers that I know was like taken out of context on the internet where it's something like, the Avengers don't wait for bodies to start dropping before they get involved. Like we're not the Avengers. We don't start waiting. We don't wait for people to die.
Avengers, the X-Men aren't the Avengers. We don't wait for bodies to drop to suit up. Letting the Brood exist is an antithetical to the way of life in the galaxy. How are we supposed to let this go on?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's angry. Like my dad just almost died. Cyclops.
Right.
Jean's poking around in there, right? She's like, okay, so like everything seems cool. And then all of a sudden, she is just surrounded by a bunch of Haas.
Oh.
Which I was like, and then the Joker showed up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a pretty fun looking
It
panel.
is, yeah, I
It
love
literally does look like the Joker is here.
Right. Yeah.
And it's Nightmare.
Oh. Okay.
Remember that issue, that Halloween issue?
No.
When they're in the treehouse in New York and Nightmare was like attacking everyone and she went after him and she like made a fool of Nightmare and sent him away.
I guess. I don't really remember
that. Happened. Well, Nightmare's like, screw you, Jean.
Right.
You don't do that to me.
Okay. Cool.
I've been sitting like for a while trying to figure out how best to get you, because there's all kinds of ways I could get you.
Okay.
Right. Like I had a whole lot of thoughts. Like, was it going to be,
your family or the Phoenix or
was like he's like was I gonna use Polaris to crash planets into one another, or like, you know what I mean? He does all these ideas, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is how I'm gonna do it. Everyone's gonna think the X-Men failed the universe.
Oh, okay.
Ha 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 ha. So like,
what a jerk.
On the ship that the rest of the X-Men have, the survivors, some of them have been infected by something.
Oh.
And so those people are going to go places and then have a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's not at all what the internet's talking about now, is it? Not the fact that Nightmare has come back and is like, screw you, Jean Grey.
That sounds awesome.
I'm like, that's so interesting that Nightmare's like, well, I'm not going to deal with Doctor Strange or his wife.
No.
They're scary.
They're scary and they'll beat me.
I don't want to do it.
I should have been the villain in Multiverse Mad.
Yeah. I'm going to beat up her.
Yeah.
Even though she definitely destroyed me.
Right.
Back on Krakoa, Jean puts out a ping. No, she doesn't. Oh no, yeah. No, they're trying to prevent access to the gates for like anyone who might have been infected, because the Brood are coming through as well.
Right.
Because Brew is under control of Nightmare.
Yes.
So he's using it, so the Brood are attacking. So she's like, you can't let the Brood have access to the gates, right? Sage is like, all right, cool. I'll let the council know. Don't worry about it. Like, I got this. Emma's in the middle of a sparring session with Kitty.
Okay.
She's getting her butt kicked. She's having a psychic conversation. Kitty's like, yo, are we doing this or what? And that's when Sage is like, wait a minute. There's been like a random like access of the gate by a mutant who's never been to Krakoa and their husband. What's going on, right? And then from behind her cartwheels in Typhoid Mary, who's just like, hey, I'm here, cool, whatever, creepy dialogue, right? And that's when we reveal the husband, and it's the Kingpin.
Well, yeah. No, I didn't see this on the internet at all.
You didn't?
Nobody's talking about it because it's a Daredevil book.
I saw a couple of articles about it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because this is reference that Jerry Duggan's been working on this one.
Yeah.
Guys.
But no one who was writing Captain Marvel's been clued in, because apparently there's no cohesion between Captain Marvel and this book.
No, there really isn't. They just said the Brood's elsewhere doing things.
Oh, okay. That's
it.
Fine.
Like, they're just like, in this, it literally says like, hey, if you want to know what the Brood's doing elsewhere in the universe, go check out Captain Marvel.
Oh, fine.
Like, that's it. This isn't like an event. They're just like, the Brood
are here.
And there's like a lot of them. So it's totally cool if a couple of characters are dealing with the Brood in a couple of books.
Yeah, dig it.
So don't forget, in Marauders 22, written by Jerry Duggan, Lord Chantel, she comes back, we get a little background on her and how she had been like in an abusive relationship with Shaw, and so Emma got her out.
Yeah.
And how did she hide her and get her out? They faked her death via a Sentinel attack.
Yeah.
And then she hid her by asking the Kingpin, who she'd been working with, doing some things. And so she extended her contract with him so that he would give her a new second chance at life, essentially, right? And like, making her go away. Then I believe in Devil's Reign, X-Men, I think we get more into it there. I didn't actually read that, so I don't really know. But I do know that she helped him, alter some things, alter some folks' minds on some items. So clearly there is a bit of a connection here.
Yes.
To Fisk, Krakoa, and Emma. I appreciate this because it's not just out of the blue. No. It might be for some folk who maybe weren't reading the other books.
Right.
But Duggan's been working on this seemingly for a bit. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to bring Wilson Fisk to Krakoa. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
He has nothing to do in Daredevil, so let's do this.
Yeah. And it creates kind of a political nightmare for Emma.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love because written correctly, hopefully she comes out the other side getting to be awesome. Because like putting a character like that into a corner and making them feel like they have no way out makes them have to be more creative in the way in which they solve their problems. So fingers crossed that this is up well. I really like this issue a lot. Emma has a great reaction to that. It's just a bleeped out my life.
Yes.
I'm like, so
that's great.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Alex Taveras says, I've been reading the Snagglepuss comic. Wasn't expecting such insightful takes on the human condition. Are there any books that surprised you like that? There's so many books that are like, oh, like I didn't know this was going to be any good. Rorschach was one of those books where I knew it was like deliberately meant to be good, but like I didn't know that it could be like that.
I've heard things about that book in particular because it strikes you as something that's like silly and like, okay, who cares, right? But, then it turns out to have a lot of depth.
Yeah.
More depth than you'd imagine.
Exactly. Monster Mayhem 844. Hi, how you been? Good. How are you? Since the new TMNT is coming out, will you do TMNT on back issues, specifically TMNT Urban Legends? No. We might do more of the IDW series, but not the Urban Legends. Yeah, I have a couple of TMNT books that we could do. I do have a TMNT book that I would like to do, but it will not be Urban Legends, and it may not even be the IDW one. Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. Can I just say how much I appreciate ComicPop promoting healthy media consumption? Many love to capitalize on hate consuming. Take my Canadian money. Will do. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, just read what you like, watch what you want.
Yeah, and it's okay. Here's the thing: read what you like, try new things.
Yeah,
but that you don't have to stick with them.
No,
it's
exactly.
Okay to like try an issue and go, you know what? Like, it's not for me.
As far as I'm concerned, that sucks. And you know what? That's all that it matters. Like,
I look at you go, that sucks, and I'm like, it's not for me.
Because that's my reaction. My reaction to things that I don't like is usually gonna go like is gonna be an honest. That sucks.
I appreciate that though. I like that about you. Right. It's honesty.
But I'm not gonna like tell everyone else it sucks or tell everyone that it should suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, of course.
Grumpy Goat says, picked up the first trade of The World's Finest by Wade and Mora in hardcover. New logo's dope, and the art under the dust jacket is a welcome surprise. I've been very critical of that logo, but I do appreciate it. I think it's a neat idea. I'm glad they're trying something, and I also love that series. If you haven't already checked out World's Finest, you should. I'd
love to see the art on that hardcover.
Me too.
Okay.
Dr. Bright, love you guys. Love you too.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Bright. Thank you very much. Charzy just got out of work, so I'm late to the stream. That's okay. You can catch up the repeat. So sending tons of love and support to my favorite YouTube people. Well, thank you very much, Charzy. ComicPop makes my days better, always.
Oh,
thanks a lot,
Charzy. That was really sweet. Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Thanks a lot. Denial, no joke. The second I saw the laughter, I knew it was him and laughed along with him because it's not what I was expecting.
Right.
Yeah, who'd expect?
I honestly didn't even think back to that, but then as soon as like I turned the page, I was like, oh my God, that one issue.
Yeah.
He's like,
so smart.
Nightmare doesn't forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, I figured that was it. They were just doing it for Halloween. Yeah. And Devin's like, no. But also Kingpin.
Yes. Jay Sage, hardly get to catch these live. Great to see you guys. Loving the new Super Family rollout. Hoping to see more Super Books and Shazam on back issues. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. I mean, I'd like to do more Super Books. I got a whole list. It's just forever. So yeah, I read Batman 133 from Chip Zdarsky and Mike Hawthorne.
I also read it.
Oh, no way. Well,
I haven't been in this world in a minute, so I thought I would try to see what would happen if I try to dive back in. And thanks to like your occasional like
blurbs
catch
about
up on what's going on, I was able to piece it together.
Yeah, Batman's trying to take back Gotham, but another one from the multiverse that he's trapped in thanks to the Toyman, and so he's been like trying to make a go of it. And in this particular case, like finally, I'll be Batman. All right, I'll do it. And
got a crazy suit.
Yeah, he's just suit made of garbage.
Yeah, that's literally, it looks like that.
But we already did the Zerna, so it's not gonna be made of literal garbage. It's a bunch of stuff he found that he needs to make into Batman, and it's fun, and he's like, it's fat. It's legends spreading fast. I'm doing my thing, and I'm teaming up / fighting old rogues. I'm teaming up with a Selena that I recognize and I'm in love with, but also can't like worry about right now, and. We're dealing with Red Mask, a new character who's probably alternate reality Bruce Wayne. He digs up his own corpse to find out how the Bruce Wayne of the reality he's in died, and it's like not that Bruce Wayne, or he's got traces of multiverse energy.
So he doesn't know. He doesn't know sure because he gets interrupted before he can kind of.
Yeah, because he bumps into that multiverse.
No, they get a.
He runs into Alfred. Alfred, like
no, when he's doing the tests.
Oh yeah, the tests.
Yes,
the multiverse, the energy tests on the.
And Dent shows up.
Yes,
so he doesn't get a chance to really finish his.
No, but he does beat the crap out of Dent and does a whole Batman thing, and it's really fun.
That was very Dark Knight.
Yes, it was. It was like, well, I've beaten him, but that's not for him. This is for everyone's watching. Yeah, got to see how brutal and badass I am. They got to be afraid of me. It's like, yeah, works out great. It's just a fun story. That's kind of it. I don't remember if there's any like major.
No, we go like, hey, there's no Arkham Asylum.
Oh, that's right. There's an asylum. There's like a city
the
under
Arkham Caves.
I was like,
it's not a great name.
It's not a great name, and it's not a great cliffhanger, but whatever. It was just like we ran out of pages.
Well, what I like about it is I think what Zdarsky's doing with that is because he spends a lot of time in the book mentioning like Batman's like, it's everything feels similar but a little different, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But like this will be completely different.
Right.
He's not gonna know this.
No, he's not gonna know the Arkham Caves.
Because it's not Arkham, it's something entirely new.
Exactly.
So I'm like, that's kind of interesting. You're gonna take him yet again and put him into like a fish out of water.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I thought the Alfred sequence was great.
It was great.
It wasn't too much. It was just
it was just enough. Just enough to make you kind of want more. I know a lot of people are like, this is how they're going to bring back Alfred. And I'm like, they did that too. Like, this is the third time they've like teased that
I will 100%
Alfred's going to come back.
That I had the same thought, folks. So like, just because Sal acts like it's not going to happen, I was right there with you. I was like, why not? This guy seems cool.
I don't want this.
He's got a shotgun.
Yeah, no.
He's close enough. That's almost an elephant gun.
Yeah, I want real
If he says
Alfred.
that he killed a predator or shot one, I don't care.
With a blunderbuss. No, I want real. I want real Alfred.
That's fair.
I want like that Alfred, not like alternate reality. I got to catch up. I don't know this Bruce. I don't know this Batman. Like, I mean, it could be that that's the way they're going to do it because it's so different. We're like, no, like we've done every Alfred story ever. And I was literally just reading an article from like 30 years ago that with Alan Grant, not the doctor from Jurassic Park, but rather the writer who's passed, who's talking about how important it is to have Alfred and how it's like, if you remove Alfred, you've broken Batman. Like literally, it was just he just out of nowhere. There's no reason for him to talk about it. And he's like, if you take Alfred out of the equation, you've ruined Batman. He is the only place. He is the Batcave. Like he's the only thing that knows Bruce Wayne and Batman inside and out, and he's the only person that Batman can ever really go to. And I'm like, that's so effing true. And yes, Batman has been missing, just like how they've removed all of Spider-Man's supporting cast from his life, and instead just give you these cardboard cutout versions of them that say things and do stuff, but they don't matter. Like removing Alfred was the biggest mistake they made. And now we're just kind of like living in it. Anyway, it's a good book. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of greatest hits. Like I feel like lately, like Zdarsky's entire run on Batman has been, hey, remember that? But not like in the Jed McKay way where he's like, hey, remember that? Derp.
I know. It's not. Do you remember?
No.
I remember this, like, and you probably don't.
Yeah, I remember this. Did you read these books back then? I bet you didn't. And it's like, I did. Oh. Well, then you're not going to be surprised.
Well, then, okay, at least you can enjoy this.
Right. Well, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is very much like, let me do this, but that. It's like, let me do Tower of Babel, but this. Let me do this, but that. And it's like, okay, you know what? That's fine. And I'm involved. I'm enjoying it. And Hawthorne's art's pretty good. I don't like him on Daredevil, but I do like him on this.
See, this is one of those instances where this isn't my favorite art, but I recognize the skill.
Same.
I'm not a fan of the color palette they chose.
No,
it's a little bright for the tone of the book and for the art.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it's not bad coloring.
Nope.
It's not bad coloring at all. I just was like, oh, it just threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was, and I had the exact same problem when Cicchetto be replaced by Hawthorne on Daredevil, where I'm like, damn it.
Okay.
And but now it's consistently Hawthorne throughout, so
sure.
It's less jarring, but don't think we didn't notice. So yeah, but I do like that book, and I think it's worth checking out.
Awesome.
Let's check it in. Let's do some recommendations for books that are coming out this week.
I love that
we think you should check out. Gold Goblin #5. I think this is it. This is the end of the Gold Goblin. Chris Cantwell, Lan Medina. This is a fine series. It was a good insight into Norman Osborn, a thing we never asked for and we should never have. But since we do have it, and I'm not reading Spider-Man, it's not bad. I heard about this only because I saw like a random ad for it in a book from last week, and it's Superman Lost from Christopher Priest and Parlo Pagwalian. I'm going to read this. I don't know what it is, but it's a 10-issue mini.
10 issues?
Yeah.
That's like unheard of lately.
I know. It's weird, but I'm going to check out this series. I might not read it all, but like I'll read the first issue at least. Check it out.
Okay.
Danger Street #4, Tom King, Jorge Fornes. I found
a fun cover.
The covers are fantastic. The art is phenomenal. The implications are spectacular, and I couldn't care less about what's happening in this book. So I have to go back and reread it. If you check out an interview with myself and Tom King from tomorrow, we will talk about Danger Street. I will admit that I'm not a big fan, and I will admit that I have to reread it, and I'm going to go back and hopefully with with the benefit of an additional couple of issues, I'll feel a little bit differently about it. It's typically the things with books that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Wildcats #5 comes out. It's an awful series. Don't bother. And
what?
I've been on board. I'm done. And there's a number of reasons why. The first of which is the lettering is really weird. They for no reason the lettering is inconsistent for this series versus every other series. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay.
Also, I don't care. Like, don't give me Wildcats and then go like, but it's this. Like, you like Wildcats so much, do Wildcats. Don't do your.
I like you saying, but it's this.
But it's this. It's something else. It's not wild. It's Wildcats. Like, I remember Wildcats. That I'm going to show you how much I remember them by doing something like inventing new characters and calling them those and putting those skins on them.
Right.
It's just like, oh, that's not. You really. This is. Ugh.
Is it?
Yeah, and what's frustrating is like it's not a bad book, and if it were not called Wildcats, it'd be better.
All right, that's fair.
What about you, Tiffany?
So yeah, what do I got going on here? I want to say Wolverine #31 is coming out, written by Ben Percy with Juan Jose Rip. It's Beast and Wolverine, guys.
Yay! It's the Beast Wolverine War.
Yeah, like, are we calling it that?
I don't know.
I love this
Beast Wars.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Immoral X-Men #2 is coming out. This is the Kieran Gillen book, also with art by Andrea DeVito. I love this. Mm-hmm. I bet the all. Okay, so who's gonna be the? Okay, I don't want to know.
We'll draw the next one.
Well, no, it'll be all three of them. Will be Andrea DeVito.
Yes.
Then it'll be who's drawing the next three. Yeah. I don't want to know. I'm excited. I just want to find out.
Oh.
I just want to find out. I'm super excited. I love it. So smart. I love this.
Yeah.
God. I love this. Anyway, this will be part 6 of Sins of Sinister. So good.
Yep.
So good. I'm gonna give this another shot. I didn't really vibe with this book because I thought it was going to be more of a team book than it ended up being. It just turns out it wanted to be a Bishop book, which I have no problem with it being a Bishop book.
Just make it a Bishop book. Just send me a Bishop.
Bishop War College #2 is coming out, written by Jay Holtham with art by Sean Damian Hill. Again, I thought this was going to be a team book, and maybe it will end up being one, but by that, like, near the end, I was like, clearly this is a Bishop book, and that's fine. Just peg it as just make it a Bishop book. Then that's totally okay. No problem with that. Hellcat's getting her own book.
Oh,
written
from
Chris Cantwell with art by Alex Lins.
Oh, nice. So I'll also read this because this is coming out of the Iron Man book that Cantwell was writing.
Right,
so.
And that cover is like kind of fun. Yeah, it has like an old school vibe.
Sure does.
To it for sure. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Harrower #2 is coming out. This is a horror indie book that I read last month when it came out. Written by Justin Jordan, or maybe it wasn't even last month. I don't know. With art by Bram Revel. Super fun. Super fun, sort of slashery book.
Yes.
Like small town vibes. Very much love it. I don't know if I'm going to jump back into this series. I liked the Excellent, or Excellent.
No, it's you said it right. It's the Excellent.
Well, no, but I think it was called something else.
Oh, it's called Excellent #1, maybe.
Yes,
before.
So this is the Excellent. So if you're looking for more of that, Peter Milligan is back at it. The Excellent with art by Mike Allred, tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, cheeky, sarcastic X title. It is a lot of fun. I will admit that. But you trust me, like it is a smarter book than I am.
Yeah.
And yeah. I have no shame in saying that Peter Milligan is a smart guy.
He is a smart guy.
Who, talk about a book that like seems like it's like cartoony and kitschy on the surface, but then, turns out there's a lot more depth to it. That is 100% Peter Milligan's works.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I got.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Oh, and you have a book that you're just gonna check out later.
Yeah, that's just for me. I didn't know what this was. I just wanted to see what it was about. I just liked the title of it.
So yeah, it's good. It's a very
striking graphic.
Right. So listen, we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and check out the interview with myself and Tom King tomorrow on Tuesday. I'm very excited. Oh, we had another super chat. I'm sorry. I'm very excited. Josh Williamson is returning to the program to do another episode of All Stars. That's our exclusive show with myself and he. So that'll be out probably the end of the week. We'll see.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were reading that. So
RK says, hey, guys, glad to watch you guys live. I think DC needs to figure out a consistent style for John and Con, because with some of the solicits on Friday, it takes me some time to figure out who is who. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's the issue where Tiffany and I have pointed that out on numerous occasions. The fact that some of these folks are not used to drawing children. And some folk really like are good at it, and some folk aren't. And
he's not even that much of a child.
He's not,
but they are younger.
So they're younger, and they don't know what that means. Like, or at least they don't know how to like go. Well, what the hell? They're all like 20 something, aren't they? Like everyone looks the same, and it's like, well, I know how to draw like a child, or at least like a small man. It's weird.
Absolutely.
But Josh Williamson's coming back to do All Stars. That's exciting.
Love it.
And Chris from Comic Tropes is going to come back to Elseworlds Exchange. We're going to chat, and that'll be coming
great.
out probably on Friday.
Okay.
So lots to keep an eye out for here on ComicPop Returns, and of course, don't forget to check out ComicPop on YouTube to check out back issues, and watch Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop or at youtube.com/ComicPop Plays. And we'll see you guys next time with another new episode. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching.
Bye.